When I came to Trinity Reviewers Day, I saw some significant things. This was AMD's first big push with their next generation part. They showed a substantial amount of improvement both with regard to performance and with regard to energy efficiency, two of the major driving aspects of today's microprocessor world. There were three comparative demonstrations of performance. One had to do with file compression, one had to do with productivity, and the third, which was kind of the most interesting, had to do with steady video. In each case, the AMD system outperformed the competing platform that it was placed next to. And in the last, the steady video one, I'd kind of showcased something you could do with that system that you currently can't do, at least out of the box, with any other. Each one, I think, reflected a different aspect of what somebody might want to do, but also an aspect that probably is normally not captured in benchmarks. The problem with benchmarks today is they really focus on just certain aspects of the system, much like talking about horsepower or torque in an engine, but leaving out the comfort of the drive or how well the car cornered. And they specifically leave out anything having to do with the individual. I might drive a car differently than somebody else does, and so horsepower may not mean as much to me, but if we use that same metric, we measure how powerful a processor is or how powerful a graphics system is, in isolation, it doesn't necessarily reflect what I want to do with the system. I think benchmarks need to be changed where they measure you first, where you are at the center of the benchmarks and you become at the center of whatever comes out, so the resulting system is the one that you want to buy and will most make you happy. So the history of benchmarks, at least with regard to PCs, kind of starts off, at least with me, in the 90s. Back in the 90s, we didn't have the social networks. We didn't have the ability to capture what people did. It just wasn't practical. But so much of that has changed. Now we can actually learn a great deal about the buyer, and the buyer can learn a great deal about themselves. You can automate it on the web and provide a pretty decent service that could match people up with our ideal hardware and provide the OEMs with much better insight into what people really want to buy. If you keep more tightly in touch with your buyer, there's a better chance you'll build something that'll get them excited and get them lining up behind your products as opposed to somebody else's.